Oak Island has been a fascinating area for treasure hunters and historians. According to legend, the small island located off the Canadian coast is home to a 300-year-old treasure hidden at the bottom of a deep and mysterious pit. A lot of people have been trying to get their hands on the treasure of Oak Island for centuries. However, nobody really came close to uncovering anything that could be of value. But all of this changed when two brothers from Michigan were able to unearth something that could change everything we know about the legendary treasure of Oak Island. The legend of Oak Island started in 1799. Back then, three teenagers, Anthony Vaughn, John Smith, and Daniel McGinnis, were sailing to Oak Island to have some fun under the sun. When they arrived on the beach, they noticed a large round depression on the ground. Curious, they started to dig in the area to see what had made the sand sink. But then, the boys stopped digging after they had gone a few feet in. The boys never revealed why, but according to the legend, something had scared the teenagers off. The island had been dormant since then as the rumors of curses grew about the island. It took 10 years before someone decided to check if the teenagers' story was true. Onslow Company, a treasure hunting group, came to Oak Island to determine if the local legends were true. The group found the large hole during the early 1800s, and it was exactly like the teenagers had described. Excited that the rumors of monsters and treasures were true, the Onslow Company started digging immediately. It did not take long for the treasure hunting group to determine what had caused the depression on the sand. They were able to tell that a hole had been dug in the area long before those teenage boys had discovered the depression. The Onslow Company dug until they were able to break an old shaft. It was clearly man-made. As the team continued to dig, they discovered there were wooden platforms every 10 feet, and it seemed the platforms went on down to 90 feet. The area was famously referred to as the Money Pit. The group noticed something between the 30 and 40-foot platforms. There was a huge slab made out of black stone, and it had a mysterious inscription. The coded carving on the mysterious Oak Island slab remained to be a mystery for code breakers and historians for over a century. Then Professor Edward Rowe Snow was able to crack the code. According to him, the inscription said, 40 feet below, £1,000,000 are buried. This was the final piece of proof treasure hunters needed to conduct treasure hunts at Oak Island. The famous researcher William Chappell led the Oak Island project after the code was broken. It was in 1931 when William and his team made the attempt to dig past the bottom hole that the Onslow Company started. His team was able to recover a 250-year-old French hunting axe. They were about 1 to 7 feet deep when William and his team were able to dig out historical artifacts. Everyone was curious about what could lie in the bottom of the pit. A few think that the treasures belonged to Marie Antoinette and that she may have fled to Oak Island when the French Revolution took place. For some, they believe that Francis Bacon has buried proof revealing that he was William Shakespeare. Some theories were more simple and grounded too. The truth is, the possibilities are endless. The mystery of Oak Island remained to be a puzzle for several years. Rick and Marty Lagina were obsessed with treasure hunts ever since they were kids. They were drawn to tales of adventure and intrigue. In fact, their favorite thing to do was create treasure hunts for each other, and they dreamed about becoming treasure hunters. Back in 1965, an 8-year-old Marty and an 11-year-old Rick picked up an issue of their parents' Reader's Digest. That issue had an article on the Oak Island treasure. The boys were immediately fascinated by the mystery and history involved in such treasure, and they started to find out everything they could about Oak Island. Years had passed and their passion for Oak Island never really died. By then, the Triton Alliance Company bought and managed the island for 25 years. But Rick and Marty still kept a close eye on the happenings of the island. So when Triton Alliance declared bankruptcy in 2005, the Lagina brothers decided to pool their resources so that they can purchase Oak Island. Together, they were able to pay $7 million for Oak Island and formed the Oak Island Tour Company. Having full rights to the island that they have been passionate about since they were kids, Rick and Marty were very excited. According to the locals, since 1800, the island had claimed the lives of 6 people from various treasure hunting expeditions. News of the Lagina brothers buying the island attracted some media attention. The History Channel was able to hear of it and reached out to the brothers. The brothers eventually made a deal with the History Channel. Because of the financial backing from History Channel, Rick and Marty were able to get their hands on the latest technology and expand their team. By 2014, The Curse of Oak Island debuted on TV screens and became an instant hit. During the first season, the Lagina brothers were able to get an enormous find. They were able to get a Spanish coin in the money pit. The coin was 350 years old. The discovery fueled the whole team to proceed in their quest. Soon enough, the Lagina brothers were able to find proof that they were digging at the right stop. They managed to uncover an ancient booby trap, and more of those traps were discovered around the area. As the team dug their way around the booby traps, they were able to make another interesting discovery. They were able to find an ancient Roman sword. The team could not believe their recent find. How far back did the treasure of Oak Island go? Is it possible that the Romans were the ones who buried the treasure? The Lagina brothers continued to uncover a lot of interesting artifacts as they dug deeper in the money pit over the years. The team was able to recover a discarded piece of paper. Upon closer examination, it looked like the piece of paper was torn off a book. This made the Lagina brothers hopeful that they were on the right track. The team had to regularly drain water from the money pit every time they managed to hit one. Unfortunately, less than a year after they found the book fragment and parchment, the team's luck seems to run its course. Then, the team managed to uncover something that almost scared them and caused them to stop the dig. In the depths of the money pit, the team found a human bone. They were surprised to find human remains this deep, but as protocol would have it, they called the authorities to report it. A forensic team did a bioanalysis test on the human remains and found that the bone belonged to someone of Middle Eastern ancestry. How did someone from the Middle East end up in a pit on Oak Island? In 2018, the treasure hunting team was joined by Gary Dayton, an expert in dating metals. The new team member was able to contribute and had his own find as well. Gary was able to uncover a medieval cross made out of a lead. Gary did some more research and determined that the cross was from anywhere between 1,200 and 1,600. The Lagina brothers believe that the treasure belonged to the Knights Templar. The medieval cross, the map, and the bone fragment that belonged to someone from the Middle East confirmed their theory. The Knights Templar was a Catholic military founded by the Pope in 1119. During their crusades, the Knights Templar were known to collect treasure from the lands that they had ransacked and conquered. If the theory was true, this could easily explain why there were artifacts from all over the world in the money pit. The team was able to recover documents that changed everything they knew about the money pit. These documents were ship logs, and according to the documents, there is a secret tunnel that gives a straight entrance to the money pit. While rifling through the debris, Rich and Marty found something: gold. The gold coin was dated back to the 1700s. Although it was hard to tell if the gold coin was part of the Knights Templar treasure, it was a sign that they were digging in the right direction. However, the discovery of the gold coin had historians countering the Knights Templar theory. A lot of historians believe that the treasure belonged to Sir Francis Drake. Many of the items were from the 1700s, which was a period when Sir Francis Drake lived. Sir Francis was a man of power, intelligence, and wealth. Plus, he was also a legendary sea captain. He would definitely have the means and the resources to build the money pit. In fact, one of the members of the Oak Island team agreed with the Sir Francis Drake theory. The 8th season of The Curse of Oak Island was probably one of the most exciting of all. This was a time when the coronavirus started to spread throughout the world. Although it meant more risk for the team, they decided to continue with their excavations, and they were rewarded by the island once more. The team found more gold coins. It did not take a while for another team member to recover a Knights Templar era tool from the money pit. It's been almost 2 decades since the Lagina brothers purchased Oak Island, and they have never regretted their purchase. They still have to uncover a massive treasure, but they felt that the work that they have done so far was able to solve a lot of mysteries about the Oak Island treasure. They have no plans of giving up on their childhood dream of finding buried treasure. Work continues on Oak Island for the Lagina brothers. They are convinced each day that they are getting closer to uncovering the Oak Island treasure, and they are encouraged by historians to continue on. In fact, the History Channel has renewed The Curse of Oak Island for another season, as they believe that the Lagina brothers and their team are making serious progress.